It has finally been confirmed. Daniel Farke will be the new manager of Leeds United, tasked with taking them back to the Premier League after relegation last season. We're going to go off the cuff. We're going to go old school with this one, but I feel like this is right in my wheelhouse. Leeds United versus Daniel Farke. And I will say right from the outset, I like it. I don't know. I think there needs to be a certain something about a manager that's going to go into Leeds. It's a crazy club. It's intense. The fan base is massive. The expectancy is massive. And Daniel Farke's just got that little bit of swagger about him that makes me think he might just cope. But it's not all about swagger and personality. It's about his CV. And that is obviously why he's been hired here. Look, I'm not going to talk about Krasnodar. I'm not going to talk about Borussia Mönchengladbach. I think the relevant body of work that has got Daniel Farke the Leeds job, and this is a plush job. Not only is it a big club in Leeds at championship level, but it's a big club with the parachute payments. I say this every year. It's not a guarantee, but any club with that extra broadcast money that's running competently should at least be in a challenge for the top four, if not the automatic promotion places. And Daniel Farke at Norwich has form for this. But there's two promotions out of the championship for Daniel Farke at Norwich. And I do feel we have to speak about both of them because they both have a kind of different string to the bow being showed, because one of them was in 2020-21, which was the COVID season as well, behind closed doors, done in this manner that Leeds want. The bounce back promotion, the year one parachute team. He won the title. The more spectacular one was in 2018-19, which Leeds fans will remember because it was Leeds that got left holding the baby. We all loved the Bielsa football, but there were two teams better than Leeds that season in terms of the regular EFL 46 game run. And those two teams were Chris Wilder's Sheffield United and Daniel Farke's Norwich. And I often outline the 18-19 season as just one of the best, one of the toughest, one of the strongest. A lot of people are saying that about this next season. Well, that definitely was the case in 2018-19. Not only did you have Bielsa's Leeds, Wilder's Sheffield United, and Farke's Norwich at the top of all of them, but Lampard's Derby, Leeds fans will have bad memories of losing to them in the playoff semi-finals. Aston Villa with a ton of money and Jack Grealish and Tyrone Mings and Tammy Abraham. You had West Brom in the first half of the season. They had Barnes, Gale and Rodriguez. And even outside of that top six, remember Millwall having a great season and Bristol City were pushing and spending up there as well. It was a classic championship season, and Daniel Farke won the title kind of out of nowhere because Norwich the previous season, I think Ipswich, Norwich and Leeds were 12th, 13th and 14th in no particular, maybe Norwich were 13th. Well, I can't remember. Anyway, they jumped up a ton of places to win the title. And it was really weird because they had James Maddison, who's going to have an influence on this championship season as well. He's just gone out of Leicester and stuck 40 million in the coffers there. Well, the season before Daniel Farke's great season at Norwich, Maddison was pretty much carrying the team and almost made them a bit lopsided. He left, and all of a sudden, what seemed to be a kind of overly coached style of football just clicked in about September, and Norwich were just incredible from then on out. I always say that season, and I was up to Elland Road over and again once Bielsa went in there, I always say the three key performances that season I saw were all at Elland Road. One of them was Leeds demolishing Derby in that Spygate. They were incredible, that game in early January. One of them was Sheffield United, absolutely key win at Elland Road. Basham arriving, that one. The other one was Norwich winning at Elland Road. It was an incredible performance that just made everybody think they're going to go on and win the title here. And it was the team of Tim Krul and Max Aarons Emi Buendia and Teemu Pukki were absolutely incredible. And the Farke 4-2-3-1, Lewis and Aarons at fullback, way up the pitch. Really, honestly, in the Championship, the first team I saw play central midfield rotation that well were Farke's Norwich. They were superb. Now, you do get a lot of people saying he had Emi Buendia, and I think we now know with hindsight that maybe with Mitrovic, and Leeds fans will be familiar with this type of thing with Pablo Hernandez, where you have a player who just other players in the Championship just can't get near them. The first touch, the speed of thought, the early pass, the ability to dribble and pass at the same time. Hernandez did that for Leeds. Buendia did that for Norwich twice. We'll talk about the second season in a minute. There is the question, can Farke do it without Buendia? Absolutely dominant player at Championship level. Never injured either. Look at his appearance numbers. He was there the whole time. Can he do it without a goal machine like Teemu Pukki? We're about to find out at Leeds, but I cannot really speak highly enough of Farke's 18-19 season at Norwich. He's not going to have the luxury he had there of a season's run at it, building up, and all of a sudden, Godfrey, Aarons, Lewis, Cantwell all came through as well. A lot funneled into that, but you have to give the guy credit for the pattern of play, which was lovely to watch. And if I'm going to sit here and say we had three really innovative patterns of play in what I consider the best season in years at Championship level in Bielsa, Wilder and Farke won that division, then I think that speaks volumes. Look, you can say what you like about Norwich in the Premier League. I think that's a whole other discussion here. It's not overly pertinent. This is Leeds in the Championship we're talking about, and Farke's got to take that job. And he has also not only got experience of obviously building Norwich up for that run in 18-19, but he has done the job that Leeds want him to do now in Championship in 2020-21, where the team came down. They retained Buendia, they retained Pukki. I know that is going to be flagged by a lot of Norwich fans and neutrals watching and questioning whether Farke's going to be a good hire. He retained those players. Those two bossed it again. I think Buendia was the EFL Player of the Year. I think Pukki got another 26 goals. He just didn't miss, did he? But they kept everything nice and solid. They added Ollie Skip as well in central midfield. Similar style of football in that unique kind of atmosphere there behind closed doors, but they absolutely nailed it, didn't they? Norwich won the title. I think 97 points. Someone will correct my numbers down there in the comments. So if you get the Daniel Farke of 2018-19, bit of a different brief there, I will admit, or the Daniel Farke of 2020-21, Leeds are going to be absolutely laughing because he has done this before. He's done it very well. He's got 2 titles to his name. Now, obviously, it's 2023 and it's Leeds. And the first thing, look, there's expectation at Norwich, but we know the intensity of that fan base up at Elland Road is, other than a few teams that I won't mention at Championship level that we've had, it's just something on a different scale. And he's got to buy into that. I said at the top of the analysis that he has got a bit of an arrogance, a bit of a swagger about him, that kind of German, efficient self-confidence. But this is something different, and he's going to have to adjust to Elland Road and all that comes with it. And, you know, if things aren't going well through the winter, he's going to know about it, and he is going to feel that pressure from the fans, from the media, and just that swell that you get when it comes to Leeds. I understand it simply from doing YouTube, just the level of interest there is in that club. He doesn't have Emi Buendia, and I don't think he's got an equivalent player, you know, that kind of cheat code there. You tell me in the chat. We don't really know who's going to be left as well in terms of the players that came down from the Premier League. And we've heard a lot about contracts and break clauses and players potentially being redirected out on loan. It looks as though he's going to have to build a team, and he's going to have to build a team quickly. But he's going to be doing that with the parachute payments, with a good budget, we think, because a new ownership is going to be in at Leeds. That 49ers arm of that investment group is going to be taking control of Leeds. Again, that's all lovely. It's massively irrelevant at championship level, isn't it? You've got very, very wealthy owners. The key thing at championship level, though, in terms of the FFP, is what comes in as good money on the balance sheet. And we all know that Leicester, Leeds, Southampton are going to get what we think about 45 million good FFP money. Yes, we know that has to be spent wisely, and we know there's going to be liabilities from the Premier League. But if that's all done competently, it can blow the, to say the equivalent of a Preston will get 7 to 10 million in terms of broadcast money. So it'll be sort of 400% of what other clubs are going to get. That's the deal. I'm not going to get into a debate about whether anybody likes that or not. That's the deal. It was the same against Leeds in the Premier League last season when they were playing Champions League clubs, excuse me. So it is what it is. This cliff edge down English football. That's not the debate now. The comment that I'm making is that with some competent business, I know there's a temporary, it's Nicky Hammond, isn't it? Sort of head of football operations with not necessarily a permanent director of football in yet. We need Leeds in order for Daniel Farke to have the best chance possible to have a very, very sensible first transfer window. Although we've seen different ways of doing this. We've seen, obviously, the way over here is the Burnley way last season, where they completely turned everything on its head and started afresh. They absolutely nailed it, didn't they? We're seeing possibly at Leicester, keep as many as you can, recruit aggressively, blow everyone else out of the water. I would think Leeds might need to be closer to that. How many Premier League players can they retain? Can they quickly balance the books? And can they cash in on year one parachute money? 3 years of it coming, remember, and give Daniel Farke the best chance possible. If they can, he's proven he's been able to do it before. So look, let me know what you think in the chat, in the comments there. Do you think this is a good hire? Can he do it without Buendia and Pookie? He's going to have to. Personally, my take, I like it. A lot depends on recruitments and the transfer window not being too chaotic. But for my money, Daniel Farke, with competent and not chaotic recruitment in and out, particularly in this first window, he knows the division. He's been there. He's run the course. He can get Leeds going. Remember, though, there are other clubs that are going to be pushing in the same direction as Leeds. Obviously, Leicester and Southampton, the obvious two. Maresca is an unknown at Leicester. Russ Martin knows what he's doing at Southampton. He's got to prove himself, though. He's only ever finished 10th in the Championship to Farke's 2 Championship title victories before. Farke's old club, Norwich, still have parachute money. Watford do too. And then you've got others who are going to be in there. Coventry will come again. They're in the playoffs. Middlesbrough, Sunderland, to name those 3. And all of a sudden, we're all doing our 1 to 24 predictions, and we've got 14 teams we think might have a chance of getting somewhere near the top 8, let alone those playoff positions. And it's going to be a big scrap for those top 2 positions. So I like it. If they give him a fair sort of situation, recruitment-wise and chaos-wise, and it's not too crazy up at Elland Road, I think he can get it moving fairly quickly. There was that slow start at Norwich the first time around, but they were not in the position that Leeds are going to be in, sort of in terms of the quality and having just come down from the Premier League. I think it's a good hire. I like it. We'll come to the predictions later in, towards the end of July when we know what's happened there. But in the meantime, I want to know what you think down there in the comments. Daniel Farke into Leeds, 2 promotions already. Can he secure himself a 3rd? Let me know what you think. And if you want a little bit of fun as well, stick with the channel. Click up there to see some bold predictions for the Championship season ahead.